What's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto, guys. This is the show where we come at you live 9:30 Eastern every single weekday, except starting on Monday, we will be coming at you at 10 a.m. Eastern, where we bring you all of the latest technical, on-chain, and fundamental metrics of the cryptocurrency markets. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the race that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano all seem to be in on the way back to all-time high. Bitcoin and Ethereum are both sitting around 40% retrace from all-time high. Cardano sitting more like 60 to 65% retrace from all-time high. We're going to look at all three of these cryptocurrencies, look at their markets, and discuss which ones we think are going to be able to rally back to ATH the fastest and how they might do that. So we're going to break down the technicals on all three of them. We've got a lot to cover today, but guys, I do want to give you a little announcement here at the beginning. There will not be a Coffee and Crypto tomorrow, the next day, or the next day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There won't be any Coffee and Cryptos going out because we are going to be in Miami at Bitcoin 2022. As soon as this show is over, we're packing up and heading down there. We're getting on the road. We got a long drive to go. We got to drive all the way down to Miami. We're really looking forward to meeting as many of you guys as we possibly can. I am joined, as always, though, by my co-host, TA Tim. How you doing, Tim?
What's up, everybody? You know what that means, Jebb, is that this is it's been over a year now. This is the last 9:30 Coffee and Crypto.
You're right.
Whoa. This is the last one because like you said, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we down there. We'll give you guys behind the scenes videos. We'll still be posting stuff, updating you guys what's happening down there, give you guys our thoughts.
Yeah, there will be videos and vlogs, and maybe even sorry,
you have not been introduced.
You've not been introduced.
I'm so sorry. But Monday we are moving to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Coffee and Crypto. So make sure you don't. I mean, the link might still be up at 9:30. Like you might see like 30-minute in advance, but it's going to be going live at 10 o'clock. That's not because we're late. It's because we're moving there on purpose. But you know the other thing that happened yesterday? We shot the second episode of Between Two Coins.
It was great. It was great.
T-Shroom was the guest. It was awesome. Went a little longer than I thought it was going to go, but we covered a lot of ground on that show. What did you think? I guess we'll introduce.
Yeah, this is a really long introduction.
Smay. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. And before I get to the green names, I'd like to say what I was saying just a second ago. You know, we're going to be doing little vlogs, little YouTube shorts while we're there on the conference, keeping you guys up to date on all the information you need to know. While also, I don't know where I was taking that. My second thing I wanted to say was that I may or may not, depending on the demand, I may even do some maybe little behind the scenes Twitter live streams. Ooh. Maybe get a little hotel action, obviously with everyone's consent. And it'll be a lot of fun. So anyways, let me get right to it and reading the green names. All right, first of all, we have Colin McDonald, Crypto AI, Jeremy Shorter, Crypto Alchemist, Siobhan Goulet, Cameron, Agent Gold, Kasha Cats, Crypto Sec Guy, Ricardo Venegas, the Bitcoinologist, Tristan Williams, Namaka Edue. I hope I said that correct. Amaka. I'm so sorry. All right. Jojo, Angie Hardy, Cryptopher, Terran Crypto. Wow, there's a lot of variety, guys, today. I love it. Shadrick Frost.
Members in chat.
Oh, my gosh. The members are showing up today. I'm so happy. All right. Let's give it back to you, Jebb.
Good deal. Well, thank you so very much to all of our members, and also thank you very much to Kelly for joining us from my office. How are you doing, Kelly?
I am doing phenomenally well. You know, it's a little bit of a bummer, a good bummer, I guess, because I'm heading back to New York City today. You know, I've been away from my wife now for several weeks, being down here. As everybody knows, I hope by now, we got a huge sort of announcement we released last week with Club DeFi, and I've been down here hustling my little took us off here in the studio with everybody. You know, I was here all weekend. I came in yesterday about 6:30 a.m. Wrapped up that portion of the trading course that's going to be there in the Club DeFi. But as it is today, I think the market is excellent, man. I think it's as healthy as it can be. It's just doing its breathing. So we got a lot to dive in today. So thanks for having me, and thank you everybody for joining. If you would do us the service of just double clicking or quadruple or triple tapping that like button.
Yes, triple tap it. Make sure you hit it once, you can unlike it, and then like it again. Make sure that you hit the like button an odd number of times. Make sure you hit the dislike button an even number of times so that we know if you didn't like the video. Let's see how many people got that one in chat. Guys, we're going to go ahead and jump on over to CoinMarketCap. As you know, Bitcoin has been rallying over the last couple of weeks. It's been pretty much trading sideways, though, over the last week or so. But we did have a major rally from $37,000 all the way to $47,000 that topped out right before the beginning of the month of April. Ever since then, we've been pretty much flagging out trying to go to the upside. We're going to cover all of these technicals on Bitcoin in a little bit and cover what Bitcoin is going to need to do to actually rally back to all-time high. It's about 31% down from all-time high right now. I do believe that we're going to see a big jump in the price of some of these assets, especially over the course of Bitcoin 2022, but we're going to talk about all of that and more here in a little bit. Notice on the 7-day graphs, we can see that there are some pretty big gainers, but as far as top 10 projects are concerned, most of the top 10 has not moved all that much in the last 7 days. Pretty much everything is consolidating, locking in gains, maybe even having a tiny little bit of a downtrend as it continues to consolidate, except for Luna. As you can see, Luna currently sitting in number 7. Luna and Cardano are fighting for that number 7 territory, both of them sitting around $40 billion in market capitalization. Same thing with XRP. XRP is just $1 billion down, so all three of these are jumping back and forth in their spots over and over and over again. Luna's doing exceptionally well, currently sitting at all-time high. We're not going to talk about Luna today because it's actually already hit its all-time high, so it's not in the race to all-time high. It actually already won all-time high race, so we're just trying to figure out what project in the top 10 is going to come in that number 2 position. And what we're going to be looking at today has a lot to do with something called the dominance charts over on Bitcoin. If you look at CoinMarketCap and you go to the very top, there is this metric right here called dominance. If you click it and scroll down, you can see this chart right here called major crypto assets by percentage of total market capitalization, and otherwise known as the Bitcoin dominance chart. If you look at this chart, I've shown only Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano, and we're going to be comparing the dominance of these markets. Essentially what dominance means is how much of the total market does this market make up. So if all of cryptocurrency is theoretically worth $1 trillion, Bitcoin is worth theoretically $400 billion, then its market dominance is 40% because you take it as a ratio. In this case, Bitcoin is worth $882 billion, total market cap at $2.155 trillion, and that means that Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 41%. The thing I want you to notice about market dominance here, guys, is that market dominance is very much so dominated, no pun intended, by Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, whenever you zoom in here, CoinMarketCap's giving us some glitches. Ethereum has much higher than 2% market dominance. I don't know why it's doing this, but the point is, if you look at the long-term history of the crypto markets, you will see that Ethereum's dominance has gradually been growing ever since 2020, and Bitcoin's dominance has gradually been declining ever since 2020. You can see going back to late 2019, Ethereum was sitting at 7% and Bitcoin was sitting at 70%. Bitcoin was worth almost 10 times as much as Ethereum. Right now, Bitcoin's worth only about 2 times as much as Ethereum, as Bitcoin has been losing market dominance to the likes of Ethereum. Cryptocurrency assets like Avalanche, Solana, Luna, Cardano, XRP, Binance Coin, etc. People are starting to branch out into the altcoins. So the foundational principle we need to make in this video is that the altcoins are starting to grow faster than Bitcoin. That is a trend that we have witnessed over the last couple of years. If we just look at this other category, also, we're going to see the other cryptocurrency assets, such as the altcoins, have also been growing quite a bit as well. This other category, which represents every cryptocurrency that is not listed here, which this is the top 10, that has grown from not too long ago in around Christmas of 2020 from 12% to where it sits right now, 20%. So the altcoin space is starting to dominate. Tim, let me ask you this. Why do you think the altcoins are starting to take the lead ahead of Bitcoin? Because I think we need to understand how the altcoins move in parallel to Bitcoin before we can really start to analyze how they are going to move in parallel to Bitcoin.
Well, as solid as Bitcoin is, and we all know the purpose of Bitcoin, and the reason why we're so bullish on it long term is because it probably is the surest bet of all of them. But the technology of these cryptos is starting to take over. First of all, we just, NFTs were a massive thing in 2021. So the ability to use NFTs caught a lot of people's attention. But the technology to do other things with it as well, especially we're looking at like Terra Luna, for example. It feels like Terra Luna was almost built for this particular situation. That's a great way to continue to hedge against all the chaos going in the world. And of course, they're now backing themselves with Bitcoin. But long story short, I do believe it's something we're going to have to continue to focus on, is that we can't treat all cryptos as the exact same thing. Some were built for monetary issues. Some were built for technological use case. And in this case, a lot of those altcoins that are moving up are technologically very advanced, and they're very useful. And therefore, not only retail investors getting into them, but also institutional investment.
I think it's very important, guys, that we realize that on the short term, it seems like the altcoin markets are extremely correlated to Bitcoin. I mean, if you look at the last 7-day price graphs, they almost always look virtually identical. Look at this: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Coin. Solana looks different, Luna looks different, but then Cardano, XRP, they've all got this big dip about 4 or 5 days ago. They're all pretty much trading sideways. You look at the altcoin markets on the short term, and you're like, okay, well, the altcoins are just doing the exact same thing as Bitcoin. So what's the purpose of even investing in the altcoins? The altcoins are just following Bitcoin to a T. They're all going to move in tandem. But the thing is, when you zoom out and you look at the longer term graphs, you actually find that they're not anywhere near as correlated as you think. Because if they were, then you wouldn't see these major swings in the market dominance as you see right now. And by the way, what we're seeing over the last couple of weeks, I want to zoom in and give you more perspective on this, but CoinMarketCap's glitching out, so you're just gonna have to read the tooltip here. If you look at Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano dominance, going back to the 3/19, March 19th of this year, Bitcoin was sitting at 42%, Ethereum sitting at 18.5%, Cardano sitting at 1.61%. If you scrub forward to where we are today, Ethereum has jumped by 1%, Cardano has jumped by 0.25%, and Bitcoin has gone down by over 1.5%. So we've seen Bitcoin lose market dominance in just the last month, in just the last 2 or 3 weeks, to Ethereum and Cardano. So Ethereum and Cardano are currently on a trend of outpacing Bitcoin. So let's keep that in mind as we start to go here.
The other thing I was going to say is, I mean, I don't know how many of you invest this way, but when you guys are seeing a good spot to invest, you invest and you DCA into several different projects. And I'm sure you don't do all equally split exactly the same, but you don't have to do crazy math to realize $1 billion coming into the space of these altcoins means a whole heck of a lot more than $1 billion coming into Bitcoin. Yep. So there's also that factor. That someone asked this on Twitter the other day, when we see these things go up together, is that because the exact same users are buying together? And there are some people that pick and choose things, but as a whole, yes, like I think the space moves together. It's just when you see a certain amount of money come into a smaller altcoin, of course, that's a way more significant boost, or if it leaves, a way more significant loss to that coin than to Bitcoin.
Absolutely. The smaller the altcoin, the smaller the ship is. Think about it like that. People have described the presidency as a very small rudder on a very large ship. You can make changes, but you've got to make very intentional, very slow changes to get the country moving in any direction. And the same thing can be said for Bitcoin. It's a giant ship. The thing's worth $900 billion, guys. That is a behemoth. That's one of the most valuable assets on the planet. That's more valuable than most countries. And it is a very difficult asset to move. Whereas something like Cardano, which is a relatively small $40 billion market capitalization, a lot more agile. Think about a cargo ship versus the tugboat that moves it. You know, the tugboat's going to be it's going to be able to turn a lot faster than a 80,000 TEU container ship. The fact is, whenever you see smaller altcoins getting a lot of volume and volatility come into them, they have the ability to jump very quickly, which is definitely an important point. So let's go ahead and move on over to Bitcoin here and do a little bit of analysis. Let's start off by analyzing how far away it is from all-time high as far as a retracement, and then how far away from all-time high it is in terms of how far it needs to go to get back there. It is currently 32.38% down from all-time high, which was set 146 days ago, and to go back to all-time high, it would need to rally 47%. I'm going to focus on this retracement from all-time high figure. There's actually a website called Retraced from All-Time High Crypto. I don't remember the exact name of the website, but maybe I can find it really quickly here. I think this is it right there. No, it's not, but I'll get that a little bit later. The point is, there's a website that tracks how far away all different cryptocurrency assets are from all-time high. This one, Bitcoin, is currently 32%. Let's look at the technicals and see what it is doing. Right now, Bitcoin is in a rally. It is flagging out from that rally. It is sitting above the 20 daily EMA, which is solid. That means it's in an uptrend. It also has an uptrending level of support right here, uptrending level of resistance right here, which means it's in a rising wedge. That rising wedge could break to the downside anytime, so we need to be careful of that. And if we look at Lux Algo here on the daily chart and the 3 daily chart, we will see that it is currently under a strong buy signal, meaning that it's in a confirmed uptrend. So, point here is that Bitcoin is in the first confirmed uptrend that it has seen on the 3 daily chart, which is what I really care about. I don't care too much about it being in an uptrend on the daily chart. I want to see it being in an uptrend on a longer term time frame. This is the first confirmed uptrend that we've seen since August of last year. So it's been a very long time. So I'm putting a lot of stock in this. I do think that Bitcoin has a strong opportunity to go to the upside here. I think the entire cryptocurrency market is going to go to the upside. But for it to get back to all-time high, it's going to have some very serious things that it has to contend with. First and foremost, with this current scaling of what am I trying to say? Fibonacci, we are currently on the linear scaling. If you look at the linear scaling here, it's currently trying to get through 38.2% resistance at 46,700. We're not even above that right now. And if we switch this over to logarithmic scaling by double-clicking on it, coming down under style, and then scaling it based on log, we're still currently under the 0.5% level. So the point is, no matter how you draw it, Bitcoin is currently under some very strong Fibonacci resistance. It needs to get above some of this Fibonacci resistance and ideally get above 0.618 up here at $52,000 to $53,000. And if we look at this on a linear scale, then we would see that it's actually also sitting at 55 to 56. So the point is, it needs to get through the mid 50s before it really starts that last leg, that last run up to all-time high. As far as I'm concerned, after you get above $56,000 on Bitcoin, all-time high is all but inevitable. Once you get to that point, mainstream media picks it up. You start to see retail flood in because they think they're about to make a bunch of money, and then the thing goes parabolic. That's normally how that works when you start getting close to all-time high. There's a magnetism, there's a gravity to it, and you just get sucked straight up to it. It's almost like you're going down a drain and you get sucked down the drain. You know, it's the same thing with Bitcoin and crypto. When you start getting close to that all-time high, it just sucks you up, and then you're there before you know it. But to get there, we first have to get within the gravity well, to follow the analogy, by getting above 56,000. So we're going to look at the same concept of the kind of gravity well in the rest of the cryptos, such as Ethereum and Cardano, here in a minute. Where do they need to get to before they just get sucked up to all-time high? But first, Kelly, I want to ask your opinion of this idea of, being within 10 or 15% of all-time high, especially on Bitcoin. Do you think that that would lead to Bitcoin just getting pulled straight to all-time high, or do you think that we would hover up there in the low 60s? And also, what are some of the levels that you're looking for Bitcoin to break before it gets to all-time high that are really critical?
Well, I would say that in order for Bitcoin to get to its all-time high, let me pull up that chart right here. I posted on Twitter about a week or two ago, and I keep updating it. And that is essentially this roadmap to basically a price roadmap. So let me go ahead and pull it up right here. I have too many windows open. Here we go. I'm working without my double monitor setup. So as we can see right here, I'm actually going to bring this down so it fits on the screen a little better. We can see right here, we've got this map sort of set up that I've done that essentially shows a couple key regions. And this is the number one key region. We've been talking about this over and over and over ever since we broke down and had any sort of push up to the upside, this 51 to 53K region, which is essentially the golden pocket retrace. And what that is for anybody that knows, Fibonacci's play a key role here in terms of what's going on with price action when a price is going to bounce. And these Fibonacci's give a very excellent roadmap about where that price action is going to pull back to. And in this case, we're still fighting above this region that we're in right here, which is this 45K region. We've held very nicely. We even tested this downtrend on this, not downtrend, this resistance that we flipped to support. And then now we're finding price action basically supporting on the top of this price region, which is why you don't want to always have just a line drawn. It's good to have regions of price. As you see here, this was a peak here and this was a peak here. So you're getting a bit you're getting a bit clearer resolution on what's going on with price action right here. So it gives you a very good idea of what's happening. But I'm very boldly stating that I still think that we are in this sort of midterm correction of the uptrend. And, I think we're going to be going up significantly from here. That doesn't mean it's going to happen without work. We're going to have to break these key levels, but this 53K level is an ultimate one that we need to look at right now, because until we break that level, we can't even talk about breaking the 58K level and then the 64 and 68K level. So let's really focus on seeing what happens at the price action right here at the bottom of this range. And then from there, once we break that range, then we could talk about going to the upside. But we have the mid-halving coming up next week as well, and I'm actually working on a pretty detailed tweet with a bunch of on-chain data that I'll be sharing here soon. I don't have it ready yet, but there's just a lot going on with the logarithmic growth curves, price action as it relates to on-chain data. The bullish setup is there. We're just waiting on the narrative to shift and the psychology to shift in the traders' minds.
And I think that's going to happen. We're seeing a lot of the cryptocurrency market really starting to get the wind back in its sails. And I found the site I was looking for. The site actually rebranded. I haven't looked at this in about a year. But over here on CryptoRank.io, you can see the different cryptocurrencies and how far away they are from all-time high. Bitcoin currently down 32.3% from all-time high to get back to all-time high, it needs to rally 47.7%, which we saw earlier. Ethereum, which we're about to talk about, is down 28.5% from all-time high. It needs to rally 39.8% to get back to all-time high. Cardano down negative 61% from all-time high. It needs to rally 156% to get back to all-time high. Cardano, we're going to talk about after our intermission when we read some super chats. But the reason that I'm so interested in investing in Cardano right now is because of how far away it is from all-time high. I am looking to potentially sell a little bit of my Ethereum because it's doing relatively well and put it into Cardano because Cardano has a long way to go. But before we get to Cardano, Tim, let's talk a little bit about Ethereum. What are some of the levels that you're looking for on Ethereum that it needs to break before it can really start pushing back up towards that all-time high of $5,000?
Well, you know, something I need to apply. We're down again this morning. We hit 35,000 though. That was an inverse head and shoulders pattern that I remember making a video on a couple weeks ago. We got up to that $35,000 level. So just so you guys know, playing back out.
Unfortunately, your chart's not popping up over here.
I don't. It's fine. I'll just talk through. It's fine. There's an inverse head and shoulders pattern that would played out a couple weeks ago, or showed a couple weeks ago. I made a video on it. Just so you guys know, you can go back and watch it. But that is bullish. You know, that is also a confirmation of the technicals on there, because inverse head and shoulders patterns have not always played out recently. But that one is one that is really important. Another thing I'm looking at Ethereum is it did a very similar thing. Yeah, this sucks because you can't see my chart. So this part is important. I'm trying.
You can put it on my screen.
So I don't know if you have drawn what I have drawn though, because Ethereum, we talked about this before. Ethereum and Bitcoin are doing very similar things on the charts, but Ethereum came down and tested its zone of former resistance, turned it into support. And I'll go ahead and just say the numbers out there, and Jebb, you can kind of put them there. Yeah. There's a zone between 32,840 or 32,840 and about 32,120. So there's a red zone right there. I have it on my chart. I don't know why. I think with the transition yesterday, we just unplugged some cords and never got plugged back in.
They're plugged in. I just checked.
I don't know. Yeah, it's not
it happens.
Anyway, so that if you go back and look at the chart, if that's held out, that was a key zone of resistance, similar to the one we saw on Bitcoin around the $44,000 region in an ascending triangle. Again, these two projects moving very similarly. We broke through bullish. We broke through that 32. Came back down and retested that resistance, turning into support. So that's super bullish to me. I do think looking at the charts, the next ones, especially if we're starting to talk about 50,000 Bitcoin, I know we also throw out the number 52, but I think 3,800, maybe pushing a little closer to 3,900 is the key level to watch. Of course, 4,000 is going to be that psychological level, but I think there's some technical barriers. I think there's some technical resistance. That 38 to 3,900 is going to be some profit taking on Ethereum. And here's the other thing, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but Ethereum in this whole video, the concept of which of these three is going to get back to all-time high quickest. Ethereum at the moment is only 37% away from getting back to all-time high. So if it were to have a rally of 37%, it would be back to all-time high. That is both bullish in the sense of saying it might win this race because it's the closest, but also bearish in the sense of is Ethereum ahead right now, and is our projects going to go to is money going to go to other projects where there's a lot more room to growth? And I know we're going to talk about Cardano here in just a couple minutes. That's one that's well over 100. I think it's closer to 150% away. I see this as a potential hit. Ethereum is doing great. I still love this project, very much invested in it, continue to DCA into it. However, I actually think that Ethereum might have a harder road than the other two, but we'll talk a little bit more here in a couple of minutes.
Interesting. Well, before we wrap it out and before we move into our first intermission and read some super chats, Kelly, I want to ask your opinion. What do you think the road back to all-time high for all three of these assets is going to look like in general? Because we're talking about which one is going to get there first, but how easy do you think it's going to be for any of them to get there? Are we actually going to see an all-time high in the next 3 to 6 months?
Well, I honestly think that I think it's likely that we will. It's very, very hard to say it with an exact sort of certainty, and that's what people need to understand when they're working in the markets, when they're trading, when they're investing. I think if you zoom out on Bitcoin, or the most of the blue cap or the blue chips, top 10, top 20 cryptos, they have had an up and to the right sort of effect, especially Bitcoin. And so the more you zoom in, the more scary the price action looks. So I do think we're going to break through that wall, that 53K wall and 58K. And really, once we break through that 53K wall, I think I think all bets are off for the bears, and I think we're really going to be making headway. But it's interesting to me right now to see these multiple mid-cycle, basically, Bitcoin dominance and then into altcoin dominance, little mini alt seasons that have been oscillating back and forth. And it's really great to see the growth of the market in this case. But I do think that Ethereum and Cardano right now, you can see it on the charts, are leading the way on Bitcoin. So I think it's going to be kind of like a back and forth tortoise and the hare sort of setup. And so I think this turtle market that Smay's talked about over the last 6 months or so. I think the tortoise and the turtles, they're going to grow wings, and I think the market's going to start moving. And I really do think, and I'm actually going to show you something really quickly because I was able to get this up, and that is this logarithmic growth curve. And this is relevant to what you asked because this logarithmic growth curve basically points that if we were to extend this the same way the last cycle extended, which was about a 45% increase in time that it took, that would suggest, and I don't think this might be exactly the case, it would suggest, this is in June, that would suggest that the peak of basically touching this logarithmic peak top band here would be in June and would be around $180,000. Will that happen? I don't know. That's what the charts and the speculation is saying. So it's giving a roadmap. However, this could be pushed. The peak could be pushed all the way into September and December because this market is moving differently than it has in the previous cycles. Pattern structures are the same. These midterm sort of pullback and right around this point is the same. So if you see this right across this mid band, this is basically an extended mid-cycle consolidation. Same here, just much smaller. Same here, just much more aggressive, volatile. So this is different each cycle. So I do think it's going to happen. There's just no telling when it's going to happen, but I do think it's going to happen this year. If I had to place a bet on it, I'd say sometime between June and the end of August.
There you go, guys. Well, I am very much looking forward to an all-time high run later on in this summer. Let's go ahead and read some super chats, and then we're going to do some analysis on Cardano and discuss which of our favorite cryptos might hit all-time high first.
There's one, I'm trying to get it. It was not a super chat. It was a question in chat, but I answered it. But I think there's a lot of people that potentially could benefit from this. Some of you guys will already know this. But the fact that somebody's asking, I think it's really important that we answer this question. Wes Hirney, I don't know how that one's pronounced, said at TA10, why is it that Solana, Luna, ADA, and XRP have similar market caps but wildly different prices? Will the prices stay relative to each other as they rise?
With which two projects?
Well, a couple: Solana, Luna, ADA, and XRP. So what he's talking about is the market caps all look the same, but the prices are drastically different. You got Cardano sitting at $1, right over $1. Obviously, you got Solana at 135, Luna at 118, XRP is sitting at 83 cents. Why? How can they? His question is, how can they have similar market caps, but yet have such drastically different prices?
Right. Okay. So to explain that, let's go back to middle school science. You got FMA. Who here remembers FMA? Who here remembers FMA? Force equals mass times divided by acceleration.
I don't know if I ever called it that.
How in the world is that? Does not sound middle school to me.
We learned that in middle school.
Listen, Jebb's middle school was advanced.
Okay.
Yeah, he had advanced middle school for gifted children.
The force equation, force equals mass divided by acceleration. Okay, whatever. Beside the point. The point is, you have three parts of the equation, and you can manipulate any two of them to get the third, right? Does anybody know?
Yes.
Okay, nobody knows. Okay, thank you, Kelly.
No. Yeah.
Kelly knows what I'm talking about.
This is really a lot more. That's why I love where you're taking this because I feel like
he's making a good point.
It's fine. Go.
Okay, you got
talking about the market cap.
You have three parts of the equation. You can use any two parts of the equation to fill in the third part of the equation. Yes. So, let's take. Let's look at Cardano. So we got Cardano here. We got how many? Actually, I take that back. Let's look at Luna because that's an easier one to understand. We have a $41 billion market capitalization. We have a circulating supply, which is the other part of our equation, of 352 million. If you divide 352 million divided by, if you divide $41 billion by 352 million, then you're going to get 117. Go do that in your calculator. We can do that a little bit later, just to give you that example. That divided by that equals that. This times that equals that. And then that divided by that equals that. If you're able to follow my mouse.
The market cap, if you're listening to podcasts,
the market cap divided by the price equals the circulating supply.
Yes.
I think I'm getting this right.
Yes.
The price times the circulating supply equals the market cap, and the market cap divided by the circulating supply equals the price. So if I don't have an equation in front of me, I can probably find one equation. And the point is, it's a three-part equation that can be manipulated any way. So market capitalization equals shares outstanding times the stock price, or you can manipulate that in different ways, so that's a division equation. But the point is, market capitalization is the current market price share times the total number of outstanding shares. So in cryptocurrency, those aren't called shares, those are called coins. So if you multiply $132 on Solana times 325 million Solana in circulating supply, you get $43 billion. That's where the market caps comes from. Market capitalization is the product of the formula, the trading price you get from the exchanges, the circulating supply you get from the tokenomics, which you can find here on CoinMarketCap, and then you use those two to calculate the market cap. But if you remove one part of the equation, you can use the other two to get that part. So that's why they're all different, is because they all have different circulating supplies. They all have very similar market caps, but they have different circulating supplies, so they're trading at vastly different numbers. I hope that was helpful.
To help him even more, Wes, when you purchase whatever you purchase, that's what's cool about crypto. I've literally seen people not buy Bitcoin because they're like, well, I don't have $46,000 to buy a bit. You don't have to buy a whole one. You can buy however much. If your portfolio, you're just looking at how much percentage your portfolio goes up. One coin you can buy really low, like Cardano. Another coin like Bitcoin, it's a lot, but you can just buy it in Satoshis, really broken up pieces. But what you're looking for is, it doesn't really matter what the price is. That's not important. What's important is, again, what's the supply? That's why Bitcoin, there might never be a higher priced coin than Bitcoin, because there's not a lot of projects that have a lower supply. Simplifying what Jebb was talking about, literally just the price times supply equals the market cap. Market cap is what is most important. That tells you the value of the coin. Same thing with a company. If you're going to ask what's a company worth, you're looking at that company's market cap, what the company overall is worth on everything. So the simplistic thing is, whatever you buy, pay attention to the price you bought at and the percentage it moves both up and down. That's going to tell you how you make more money. Don't just buy a project because the dollars are low. Like, that would be a mistake to buy Cardano and say, I can't wait for when Cardano's $46,000 a coin. That's not going to happen. It's about buying
about supply and demand.
Yeah, it's about looking at how much you buy of the supply and then watching that grow.
Here's the deal. If you have 10 shares and each share is worth $50, how much value do you have in shares? $500.
I was waiting for something like that. I was like,
that was the final
we
analogy.
just spent like 5 minutes.
So you got 10 shares, which is the circulating supply. You got $50 a share. That's the share price. If you have $50 a share and you have 10 shares, then you have $500 worth of shares. So the market capitalization of your 10 shares is $500. Boom, solved, answered. There we go. Good.
All right, here we go. Next question. I'll get a couple more here. Eclipse MSR. Happy Tuesday, team. I'm praying that y'all have safe travels to Bitcoin 2022.
Oh.
Yes, thank you so much. We got one from Groovy saying, why are, now I think he just, I don't know what this means, honestly. Why are the 20 minute candle charts for Bitcoin and crypto so weird? 1420 minute candle, 20 minute candles, I don't know.
1420?
It would read out 1420.
Well, that's a weird time frame. You know?
I think it's a typo.
That's definitely a weird time frame to look
Groovy,
at.
we're going to have to get back to you on that.
We're going to get back to you on that one. Yeah,
Shadrach
sure.
Frost, who's now been a Jedi Youngling for 8 months, so an OG of the membership team. Said, we, the members, love Jebb and crew. Thank you all for what you do for us. God bless. Isaiah 5:20 is the scripture for today, which that reads, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
I brought it up too, Tim.
You brought it up too?
I brought it up too.
Hey,
look at that.
Same mind.
I feel like he's talking about Shiba Inu
We
there.
were ready. Oh.
Gosh. Last one. I think it's Tahir or it's Taher, Taher, if you guys want to tell me how that's pronounced. Ali said, one day I will give more. Thanks for your services. You know, Tahir or Taher, however I say your name.
I'm gonna go for it Tahir.
Tahir?
Tahiti.
I don't know. Just thank you for anything you guys do. At the end of the day, if you guys, there's no pressure to give. If you guys want to give, you guys can give. It helps us keep lights on and stuff. But ultimately, we're here for you guys. What we really want from you guys is to come in every single day, be a part of the community, contribute to a respectful chat and discussion so that all of us can grow and get better and produce financial sovereignty for ourselves and our families. But that's what we really want. So hit the like button, subscribe, and then if you still like, man, I want to continue to be a part of this community and I want to give, we welcome it, but by no means should anyone ever feel pressured to give.
Absolutely. But thank you so very much to everyone who does. Let's read this final one, and then we will go ahead and move on here. Matt C. just donated right now. He said, with today's inflation, you guys are going to need some extra money for gas to Miami. Have a safe drive. Yep, the gas to drive 6 hours is going to cost more than the plane ticket would have. I'm honestly not sure if I'm joking. I would have to check because that actually might be the case. I saw a video of somebody filling up 120 gallons in an RV, and it cost $1,000. It was $1,000.
So here's a goober question.
180 gallons, excuse me.
So would the plane ticket price not have gone up due to the fuel of how much it costs to fuel the plane?
Yes, but jet fuel is a different market than gasoline fuel.
See, that was why it was a goober question.
They're competing to get people on the planes too, because people weren't flying for 2.5 years.
A lot of people don't realize that planes don't actually make their money from selling plane tickets. So that's not actually as
they
big
make
of an
it
impact
by
on their
selling
amount.
packaged peanuts on the flight.
The secret, and then we're going to go into Cardano, is that airline companies act a lot more like banks with their frequent flyer miles. That's how they make all their money. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on here to Cardano and talk a little bit about it. Cardano, as you guys know, is still the largest retrace from all-time high of the three we're talking about here. I'm going to run through this quickly because I want to make sure we have time to discuss how and which cryptocurrency is going to get back to all-time high the first. It is down 61% from all-time high, needs to rally 156% to get back to all-time high, and if it were to do that, then it would have the largest rally that we have seen on Cardano in quite some time. Looking at Cardano's price action, we can see this currently in a symmetrical triangle an ascending triangle pattern right below $1.22, which is its critical resistance level. We've talked about that and how it could get back to all-time high in yesterday's video, so I'm not going to harp on that too long. The main point I want to make here before we move into discussion is that it has a very long road ahead of it. Kelly, one, why do you think Cardano corrected more than the rest of the cryptocurrencies in the first place? It pulled back 75%. I don't think Ethereum ever pulled back that far. If I remember correctly, it pulled back 55%. One, why do you think Cardano pulled back so far? And two, how likely is it that Cardano is even going to be in this race back to all-time high, or should we just focus in on the two that are more likely to win, Bitcoin and Ethereum? Has Cardano lost before the race has even begun?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with much like if a movie comes out. I don't care if it's Star Wars or Harry Potter or whatever movie that goes into a series, a comedy. It doesn't matter what it is. The first movie is always incredibly like just awe-inspiring or super funny or whatever it is. And then when the Matrix is a great example, when the sequel comes out and then the third comes out, it's very, very rare that our minds are blown, because that sort of perception has already been set in our head and we have an expectation. So with Cardano has been fighting very, very beautifully, very well, I should say, an uphill battle of ignorant market psychology, in that we're comparing it to what Ethereum already has or what it's done along the way. And we're not actually looking at it and saying, okay, well, if you look at the time frame from when Ethereum launched to when they had the smart contracts to when they had 200 dApps developed on top of Ethereum, Cardano actually moved a lot faster. It took a lot longer to get their smart contracts out, but because the market sort of know-how is already sort of built, the economy there, just the interest in the market and the environment around it. Cardano is actually moving a lot faster, but we're comparing it to how far along Ethereum is, and it's an irrelevant race. That's one of the things. It's a great question you have, because it brings up this thought, much like the market cap thing that we were just talking about there. There's a lot, and I'm not calling anybody out, because I have been woefully ignorant, especially early on in my trading days, and there's still a lot of ignorance I have, because we don't know what we don't know. So it's good to ask those kinds of questions. And in terms of like this with the market, we compare coins to each other. Like, is this going to displace that one? Is this going to take the lead? All these projects operate very differently from each other. AVAX is a completely different structure to how their project is organized than Cardano is. And Cardano is a very different mission statement than Ethereum. Ethereum is entirely different from Bitcoin. So we need to take these all on their own account and see the similar relatability sort of factors that they have. It might clue in investors that, oh, this is a market that there's a lot more room to run. However, when we're looking at these projects, when we're doing our due diligence, I can speak, and we're doing our fundamental analysis, our sentiment analysis, our market trade metric analysis, all these things that we go over in Club DeFi. It's how do we look at these as an individual project? How does this stand on its own feet? And can it stand on its own feet? Or is it only trying to take off a bite of the market of something else that is doing the exact same thing? If it's not able to stand on its own 2 feet, then it might not be the project to invest in. But Cardano stands on its own 2 feet. And I think that once some of these Hydra comes into effect, the scaling, really starts to expand on the network, and some of the throughput issues that have happened when the DEXs have come online, that these issues are identified as the new developments happen. And we're seeing every step of the way, the projects on top of Cardano and Cardano itself are taking these issues and they're running with them, and they're able to formulate their solutions, very good solutions to these projects. So I actually think, yes, Cardano is a slow play, but we're fighting the psychology, the ignorant psychology of the market, myself included. So I think as that starts to shift and legacy starts to take place because it's been around with smart contracts and dApps developing, I think it's going to be a slow parabola that once it gets started, people are going to be so sad that they had negative things to say about it early on and didn't invest.
I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Cardano and attacking Cardano when they don't understand the fundamentals of the technology. And I think it's important that we understand that every single cryptocurrency has the place that it currently has for a reason. There's a reason why Dogecoin, for example, is ranked number 12 and why Jebb is ranked number 15. I think that they're projects that you should be very careful of, but there's a reason that Dogecoin is worth $20 billion. There's a reason that Cardano is worth $40 billion. And it's not for us to really question, should this cryptocurrency exist in the first place? The point is, do people have demand for it? You might not understand, for example, one thing I don't understand modern art at all, but enough people do that it has value, right? I don't get it, but that doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't. And so a lot of people love Bitcoin, a lot of people love Ethereum, a lot of people love Solana and Terra and Cardano. The question is, which one of them is going to pick up more traction faster? So, Tim, who do you think is going to win this race?
Well, I actually wanted to follow up on Cardano, and the race is who gets back to all-time high first. You know who I actually think is going to do it? I think it's going to be Bitcoin. And I'll explain that here in a little bit. But what I wanted to even reference was a question you asked Kelly. Why did Cardano come this far down? And I'm going to give a little bit of a hot take here. And you guys know how much I love Cardano. Cardano might be my favorite altcoin of them all in terms of everything it's trying to accomplish. But you want to know what I think? I think Cardano had no business getting to $3 in the first place.
I agree with that.
I think that Cardano went at $3 based off of hype, and it's a side effect of what's really cool about Cardano and Charles Hoskinson is how open he is with his community, how open he is to telling you guys what's going on. And the community grew so strong and so much hype got there that what happened was it overinflated that price, not even by a little bit, by a lot of it. It had no business going as high as $3. It wasn't ready for that. Now, the downside of that is because we just had a 75% dip and it came back down, now people are saying, oh, this is a dead project. Because more often than not, in these smaller altcoins and when these things that really, they're not even 10 years old, other companies, if an investor would look at that and say it had that massive pump and a massive dip, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. We watched the whales and institution money that used to be pretty significant in Cardano evaporate. It came back down. So now the price is underevaluated, but they're just now getting started with all their tech. That was the whole thing. I always have said that was a valid argument for all the haters of ADA out there that they weren't producing. They kept saying they were going to do stuff, but there wasn't anything backing it up just yet. I got that argument. I didn't agree. I thought it was coming. I believed in that team. But I understood that argument of saying, guys, why are we so bullish about ADA? It's not even doing anything yet. Well, guess what's happening now? They're actually starting to do things. And they're doing things in a very effective and quick manner. Ethereum is struggling as it's continuing to move sideways, not price action, but I'm turned in technology, because it's trying to make that switch from proof of work to proof of stake. It has hiccups it's got to work with, whereas Cardano started nice and clean. Never should have been at $3, should have stayed down between $1 and $2 this whole time, but it's actually building and it's going to build. There's a part of me that's almost like, hey guys, throw $3 out. Cardano just started and it's going to be amazing. And then following up with the question of what I think is going to happen, I think Bitcoin's going to happen first. And the reason why is because I do think that institutional money is going to be what pumps the rest of this year, because I do think with all the FUD happening, it's not FUD, it's real, with the inflation and then the interest rate hikes coming out, I do think that Powell and the Fed will be forced to be a little aggressive with it, which will scare / keep retail money out of the space because they can't afford afford to invest. They got to feed their family. That'll give the open grounds for the institutions to get involved, which I think there are trillions. And I think the first place that money is going is Bitcoin. But I would not be surprised to see Cardano be number 2. It's funny because Ethereum is the closest one, but I would not be surprised to see of the 3 of them, Cardano has the biggest rally. It just also has the longest road in front of it, which is why I'm giving the edge to Bitcoin.
I actually agree with you, and it's exactly for the reason you said. The institutions are going to be what drive us back to all-time high. The retail is going to kick in after we're getting close to all-time high, and after we broke an all-time high. That's when you're going to see the Ellen DeGeneres show and the Oscars and, you know, the Grammys and, you know, Dude Perfect start making content about Bitcoin again. Until then, they're going to not talk about it because they don't have a big enough audience that cares about it at the moment. But what's going to get us to all-time high are going to be the institutions stepping in, and they're not going to be stepping into Cardano, a cryptocurrency asset that they don't understand in the slightest and that they're not even sure isn't a security. They're going to be stepping into Bitcoin because, in their opinion, it has a big enough return with a low enough risk that it's something that they'd be willing to put 5% of their assets under management into. So we're going to see Bitcoin start going crazy. When you start seeing Bitcoin get back to all-time high, which I've witnessed happen many times, normally the rest of the cryptocurrency markets start to take a back seat, and Bitcoin goes absolutely ridiculous. If you look at the history, let's look at it. When did Bitcoin hit all-time high before? By the way, I'm on this 14, 20 minute chart, and I see what you're talking about. It really does make the chart look weird. Look at this. This is a 14, 20 minute chart versus the daily chart. I don't know why it's doing that. That is so strange, but we're going to use this chart.
Oh my gosh.
Just because it's interesting. Do you see that, Tim?
What in the world?
I know, it's weird. I don't know what it's doing. It looks really funky. Anyway, my point is, when Bitcoin broke all-time high, happened here in December of 2020, it started rallying. If we look over at CoinMarketCap, let's take a look at the market dominance. If I remember correctly, Bitcoin just started dominating, you know, no pun intended, right around December of that year. If we look back here to December of 2020, yep, as we were running up to all-time high, we went from 56% all the way up here to 71%. After we got through January, Bitcoin started losing market dominance very quickly because the altcoins came in. But during that initial run, through the beginning of December, until about right here, Bitcoin was just exploding in market dominance. After we hit this part, Bitcoin's market dominance went down, and Bitcoin started rallying a little slower because the altcoins took off. But until Bitcoin's just ended its run at 42K, its dominance absolutely just slayed. And so I think we're going to see the exact same thing happen. But Kelly, what do you think? Do you think that we are going to see Bitcoin go on a massive run and leave behind the altcoins as we did last time, or is this going to be an altcoin-driven rally this time?
I think they're going to work in tandem with each other, and they're going to go back and forth. And you know, I shared something yesterday, and it's this right here, this market cycle sort of trading cheat sheet. And in all honesty, I think the altcoins currently are going to the altcoins are a great indication that the market is taking a little bit more confidence in the market because altcoins are more risky. And so I think that honestly, this was, you know, we're probably somewhere around right here on this market cycle. Meaning, you know, just like any market cycle, and these market cycles happen on the 1 minute chart, 5 minute chart, 4 hour chart, day, every time frame you look at. And on the macro chart, we're talking about this macro trend. I think we're basically in this consolidation phase. It's more of a flat consolidation phase about right here before we get that last leg up. And you know, that's perfectly in line with looking at this logarithmic curve, basically, you know, coming up, pulling back, and then coming up, and then having our peaks somewhere around here. But I do think that right now, the fact that the altcoins are rallying while Bitcoin's finding a little bit of, I don't want to call it even resistance, hesitation where it's at. You know, it's people institutions and smart money take the turns about where they're moving their money between different assets, almost playing like a profit arbitrage between different assets. And because Bitcoin is looking stable, although it's not running, it's looking stable at the level it's at. And I think if the altcoins continue to run like they are, it's just going to give more confidence back to Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin, I think, is going to have that momentum shift that takes us up through 53K. And then Bitcoin is going to outrun altcoins for a while until it cools off. And then altcoins will run again. So I think it's going to have that jockeying back and forth, especially taking into consider that market cycle structure.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you. But let me throw it to Smay real quick, because I know he's had a lot of thoughts, and he's actually been very accurate on calling the market. You've talked about the turtle market over the last 3 months, been pretty accurate on that call. Smay, do you think the turtle market's over? Are we going back to all-time high? And if so, which one gets there first?
So something that me and Tim and T-Shroom got to record our podcast the other day between two coins. Check it out on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. But something that T-Shroom brought up was the analogy of like money moving around the market kind of being like blood in a body, right? Like it flows around to the points that, the body needs it the most. Or at least if I'm running, right, a lot of that blood's going to go to my legs to pump those muscles for me to run, right?
Interesting.
So in terms of like, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that, in terms of where the money is that is fueling these markets, right? A lot of them are shared, or these shared pools. It's not like these separate categorized different market caps and people aren't investing. These institutions are only investing in, I'm just an ADA institution and I'm just a Bitcoin institution. No, like a lot of this money is flowing around the market, right? So what happens is sometimes is what you'll see is a lot of that money will either flow into Bitcoin or it will flow into the altcoins, right? I think right now we are going to see the altcoins get their shot for a little bit. And what happens is, Jebb's described it's the altcoin engine, as it kind of like they paddle back and forth. And they end up springing the whole market forward. And so I think what we'll see is it's going to be the altcoins are going to be what starts to get us out of this turtle market, and then Bitcoin's going to come right back and shoot us towards that all-time high again. So that's my thought.
Sounds good. Well, it would make sense because we've seen that happen in the past where normally Bitcoin will take the lead right up to all-time high and past all-time high, but a lot of times you will see the cryptocurrency markets, the altcoin markets really get something going. Even in the last couple of months, even in the last couple of weeks, we've seen the altcoins start rallies because the altcoins just frankly have a ton of development going on them. They are younger markets, so therefore they have more parabolic potential than Bitcoin does. For Bitcoin to double, it's got to add $900 billion from somewhere. For Cardano to do so, it only has to find $40 billion. And it seems funny saying only $40 billion, but to be honest with you, $40 billion is not that much money. You can find $40 billion in a lot of different places, and doubling Cardano is not that hard compared to doubling something like Bitcoin. So I think we are going to see that happening.
Apple users.
You could find it in Apple users.
Now, okay, so hold on.
You know what?
Let me finish my take. I will say, if for some reason Apple has a gigantic announcement this week,
Forget the altcoins.
Forget the altcoins.
They're taking a back seat.
I'm saying, barring any gigantic Apple adoption.
Are there any major Apple announcement launch events anytime soon?
I think it's usually I think they have a spring one, which they already just did, and then I think there's another one that happens in the fall.
Okay. Well, as Matanya Holmes said, we need a small loan of $40 billion. That's right. We need that so that we can double Cardano. I do think that we're going to see Bitcoin beat all three of them. I think we're going to see Bitcoin win the race between all three of them. That is back to all-time high. As Tim said, I believe it's going to be because of institutional interest and adoption of that project.
But even that, so of the three of them though, so the race to all-time high, I vote Bitcoin. You vote Bitcoin. Did you say what yours was?
No, I didn't. I mean,
I think I vote Bitcoin.
So, but here's the other thing. So, of course, Cardano has a much longer road.
Yes.
Do you think Cardano outpaces the other two, or do you think a Bitcoin outpaces all?
I think Cardano has the biggest return. Okay. I think Cardano will rally the most percentage-wise, but it won't hit all-time high first. I agree with you. I think it'll hit all-time high before.
So there's
Ethereum.
something that we haven't taken into consideration. I'm going to share my screen real quick, and it's this right here. This is what I've been waiting on for this whole last quarter. It's now we're into April, and you can see now we can start checking out. If you can go to here, markets.businessinsider.com to earnings calendar, and we're going to start getting these earnings reports from all these very large companies, across not only America but the globe, primarily in this case America, with these earning reports for taxes and stuff. But we're going to start seeing. I hope it's going to be some good news, but we're going to start seeing these earnings reports. And on these earnings reports, this is when we would actually see on paper, we would find out as the public that institutions and corporations have bought Bitcoin or not, if they're holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Because a lot of times, if you're going on Glassnode or whatever on-chain metric you're looking at, and you're looking at OTC charts, which is over-the-counter charts, which is how a lot of these institutions are buying their Bitcoin in large quantity. They're not typically buying it on spot price action. Some of them are, but even the ones that are buying it on spot or on chain or on over-the-counter, we never have an indication when if somebody is an institutional institutional player if they're buying on exchange, and we don't have an indication of what institutions they're buying when they're buying over the counter. We only get that information when these earning reports come in, and they're going to start coming in throughout the next several weeks for quarter one. And with the price action having pulled back as it did, with all the data suggesting a bullish narrative, institutions and smart money doesn't buy because price is high or low. They buy based on the data and the metrics that are around that asset. And in the case of Bitcoin, although it's pulled back, some people were harping on me when price was pulling back, and I was still posting bullish on-chain metrics. Well, the case of the matter is, I'm not interested in what the price is doing. I'm interested in what the data is saying about what the market is doing, because that is my edge when I'm trading, that I can make sure that I'm taking advantage of the market when other people are fearful. And that's what institutions do. So I'm excited to see what happens. And if that's the case, that would propel this argument about Bitcoin going to all-time high before the other ones, because what's going to be on the balance sheet before these altcoins is going to be Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum, but it's not. It's going to be a much smaller percentage of Solana and Cardano. And the lower you go on the list on market cap rankings, the less likely it's going to be on a balance sheet of an institution.
Absolutely, and you're probably going to see some of those institutions stepping into crypto in a big way. Well, we got 5 minutes left, so let's go ahead and read some super chats. We're going to wrap out the stream here pretty quick.
We got some good ones. Here's one. Simpleman699 said, "Hi guys. What's the story of 88 coins being burned in the near future? Can that actually happen?"
Charles Hoskinson and the Cardano Foundation have a very strong stance on not burning coins. They hate that idea. Freedom Advocate said something in chat a second ago, and I can't confirm nor deny this, but I'm just going to read what he said. Charles won't burn ADA coins. He refuses to burn them. That much we know is true. Freedom Advocate also said he said an optional burn for investors if they want to burn their own coins. I'm not aware of that, but I mean, you can no matter what cryptocurrency you're on, you can burn a coin by sending it to a wallet and forgetting the password. So burning coins is always possible.
Here's an exact
Cardano
quote.
Itself probably is not going to do it.
So here's an exact quote from Charles. Sometimes I thought he was coming to the end of sentence.
I'm sorry, really were just pushing your way through there.
Well, no, there's the exact quote that he says is, "Crypto, enjoy the best and accept the worst. I'll still never understand the burners. Burn tokens? Whose tokens? How exactly do I burn them?
Exactly.
There's no giant pool of unassigned ADA. Every Lovelace belongs to someone just like Bitcoin. So who do you want to steal from, and do you get a small return? So he's pretty much saying, if I was going to burn Cardano, I'll have to steal from somebody to burn it."
That was a really slick reference he just made there. Did you catch that, Tim? The Lovelace thing?
No.
Ada Lovelace? Isn't that an author?
Yes, yeah, I get it.
Did you catch that? It was a mathematician, excuse me.
No, Ada Lovelace is she wanted to fly.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. You know that story.
She worked with Charles Babbage on the first computer. That's right. That's what it was. That's what it was. I caught that, Charles. I saw that. You said every Lovelace is a sign. That's a good one.
Yeah, there's a fun little story about her as a kid. She she was an engineer.
She bought Cardano. She was lived 300 years ago.
No, she wanted to fly, so she tried to build like a flying contraption. Maybe I'm butchering this, but that's where I've heard.
She's the one that worked on the analytical engine, the first computer. All right, well, let's read the rest of these super chats.
Siobhan Gole said, "You guys are awesome. Donation for the best team." Thank you, Siobhan.
Thank you very much, man.
This one, M Weeds, I think. Longtime listener, first time comment. Am I seeing a giant cup in handy on the XMR monthly? Much love.
Well, let's take a look at Monero. We got just a second here. Let's look over at Monero over Tether on the monthly. I do believe you said. Let's see. I'm not getting a lot of, not getting a very long history here. Should be long on Kraken. Yes, you are seeing a cup and handle pattern. I would definitely say it's a cup and handle. Now, what I would also say is that Monero has a lot of fundamental things going on with it that are going to make it difficult for Monero to go into major rallies because of privacy issues, with it being a privacy coin, regulators not wanting it to be used for money laundering, and the fact that this cup and handle formation is a very old cup and handle formation, and that it would be predicting a $2,000 Monero. I highly doubt that this cup and handle formation is actually going to play out, but technically speaking, that is one. So good eye on that, my friend.
Yeah, Tom Wilkes said, "Safe travels to Miami, everyone."
Thank you, Tom. Hopefully we'll see you down there. We saw you at TNABC.
Yes, we will keep you guys updated. That might be even something that Smay and I do, so keep posted. We might even let you guys know when where we're going to be, and because this is really sad. Smay and I don't have press passes. Smay and I are going to be just out there with the common peeps. So I'm excited. Smay, are you excited to be there? He really wanted to meet Jordan Peterson.
I want to meet Jordan Peterson.
Really, I mean,
I won't hunt him down. I have a press pass.
You're okay, Smay.
I'm gonna have a great time.
Come
guys.
hang out with me and
we'll
Smay.
tweet and come hang out with me and Tim, because we're gonna be having a great time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would rather meet them than meet the big guys anyway. So.
Yeah. Me too.
Corey said, "Hi guys, it sounds like you guys are very excited for ADA, but not nearly as for ETH. Is this for its tech or return on investment, or is there more to it?"
So the thing with ADA is that the reason we love ADA so much is because it is a project that has next generation technology compared to Ethereum. Ethereum has been playing catch up on its technology for 3 or 4 years, trying to get over to proof of stake, trying to upgrade things through EIP 1559, which came out 6 months ago with, there's a lot of things that ETH is trying to do to fix problems, whereas Cardano is pushing forward with new things. So Cardano is not as far along in the development journey, but it's also not having to stop and repair the car every 5 minutes on the road trip to the destination of becoming the #1 digital computer, if you will, which is what these basically are. They're basically multi-$100 billion digital computing softwares. And so the reason that we talk about Cardano so much is because, one, I believe that it has a much stronger vision and mission than Ethereum does. 2, I think it has a stronger leader. No offense to Vitalik, but as far as being charismatic, I think Charles Hoskinson is a more charismatic leader. And number 3, I think its technology is doing a lot better. I actually own quite a bit more Ethereum than I do Cardano because Cardano, as of yet, is not as proven as Ethereum is. Ethereum is the incumbent, and there's value in that. I do talk about Cardano so much because I really, really like Cardano. Not because, by the way, I need to clarify this. I have to say this every time we do this because we get accusations. We are never sponsored by coins. We've been offered 6 figures to do one video on coins before. We will never do it. We get offered all the time. We've never done it. We never will. We've never taken a dime for a coin sponsorship, and we never will. We are hardline on that. It's not going to happen. We've never been paid a penny by Charles Hoskinson, IOHK, IOG, anything to do with Cardano. We just talk about Cardano because we're invested in it, and we think it's something that we can share with you guys. That is why we talk about Cardano.
Yeah, I wanted to say, also a good comparison to traditional stocks would be like looking at Microsoft versus Apple. Microsoft was a lot more tried and true, and Apple came along, and Apple basically was way under the radar for a long period of time, and they slow played and just developed their tech, and they have, it's overtaken Microsoft, and they're both excellent projects. So it's almost, it's like it's where we talk about diversity and diversifying your portfolio. We like Cardano because of the future it has ahead of it, but we like Ethereum because of the stability and the upside that's still there for it. So that's kind of how we look at it.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're out of time. We're going to wrap it out here, but we are looking forward to meeting a lot of you at Bitcoin 2022. I remember while we were down at TNABC, I kept having some of our team pulling me like, Jebb, we got to go interview this guy. Jebb, we got to go interview this guy. I'm like, I'm talking to a subscriber. I am not walking away from a conversation with a subscriber to go interview somebody. I will interview them when I interview them. If I don't get to interview them, I don't get to interview them, but I'm talking to a subscriber, and I just absolutely love it. And I can't wait to meet more of you guys. Tim, looked like you wanted to say something.
I'm putting in chat too, just in case, but I want to remind you guys, some of you guys weren't here at the beginning. Some of you guys didn't see yesterday's show. We are not out we're not in the rest of this week. No more Coffee and Crypto the rest of this week. And next Monday, we start at 10 a.m. We'll go 10 to 11. So we'll still be here. But if you show up at 9:30, we won't be here just yet.
Yep. So make sure you stay tuned. 10 o'clock Eastern. Monday will be the next time we are here. Wes Hearney donated. He said, I love how you guys stay positive all the time. There were a bunch of negative influencers as you get very negative when the market goes down. I enjoy you all. Got to keep a positive outlook. You do have the decision on how your attitude is. You can choose to be happy and positive, or you can choose to be upset that Bitcoin is down. You do have a choice in that. The temptation is to be upset whenever Bitcoin's down, but you don't have to fall into that. You don't have to let those emotions control you. You do have freedom in that. Just a reminder. Guys, that's all we got for you before we go. I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.